Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Kim over at Bluebird Legacy. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Enchanted Fairy collab. Hashtag Enchanted Fairy. And I am going to share with you my stitched and my paper snippet rolls. I made about 4 of them. And this little girl, I remember that I had this red lead R-E-D-L-E-A-D, red lead stamp, and she's so adorable. I thought I would paint her to start off so that she gets dry. And of course, she is gonna, I've got my paints here at the side. I've got a little water. We're just gonna get in here and very lightly just use some watercolor. It'll dry. I stamped these on watercolor paper, 140 pound, and then this is what the stamp looks like. Okay, and this is where you can get it. So really cute stamps over there, and I really like that one. So real quickly, you'll see this color will go on, and I thought blue would be pretty because of course all of my snippet rolls are green, lots of shades of green. So I like blues and greens together. And we're just kind of filling in the lines for her. There's so many cute things you can do with her. I used her in another piece of stitched that I had done a couple of years ago, or about a year ago. I took her little black patent leather shoes and I put that shiny, I put it makes everything real glossy, and it just looked really cute. I think she will have some darker hair. I'll give her a little bit of hair here. We can always make the other one a light-headed or a red-headed one. You know, you can make yours whatever color you like. I just thought she had such a cute little face, and she's a little flower fairy that's zipping around this spring. I think she's going to have some gold wings, some yellow colored wings. Of course, this is all what you want to make it. And that's how quick you can do that, just stamping it out. Of course, you want to use a stamp pad that is non-removable and not water soluble if you're going to do something like this. Of course, you could always, the other thing you can do is you could use colored pencils to color it in. I don't know, I think she's going to have maybe purple. That's too dark of a purple. Let's do a little blue on her socks. She's going to wear some socks. It's so tiny. Just need the slightest amount. And then this can be drying while we're doing some other things. And then we'll attach it. I thought I'd put her on the paper snippet roll. I think she'll look real cute. And then a lot of times I'll go around it with just some inking. It's really cute. Okay, so that is the little Enchanted Fairy that I have, and I thought she would look super cute on one of these. I have just a paper. It's just what it, it's collaged paper all put together, and then I had some flat back pearls and I put those on here, and I think she looks really cute right here. I might tone down her wings a little bit and put some green in there, but she looks cute on this. me pull this back a little bit. There we go. Okay. I'm getting a little shadows coming in. My lighting, I'm going to take that away. So there is just one. And these are just pieces of paper, and I put them together with glue. I put some flat back pearls on it with a green theme, hearts and green and leafy things. And there she is. A little enchanted fairy. The other thing I did, this is what it looks like before you put anything on it. And lots of colors of green. I used Enchanted Fairy. Jovi's kit has lots of shades of green, and this would be so pretty with that kit. You can find her kit over on the Etsy shop. And I had lots of colored paper, and I used those. I also have my palette. I use a glass palette sometimes, and I use a Stay Wet sometimes. And so I have all this these acrylic skins that I pulled off. And this side really has greens because I had started with greens, which these look really cool. They're not shiny. This is what I thought would look really cool to give it some dimension. And you can just cut these. And I'm gonna glue some of these colors onto this, and it gives it more texture. See? Like so. Of course, a glue will work really well. This. And that's a fast and easy way if you don't have a sewing machine or you don't want to stitch anything by hand. I wanted to show you both ways that you could do this, either with paper, and then some people even put paper and fabric, stitch into the paper. Since I'm stitching on my others, I just decided to kind of use the glue with these. So, and that's just another idea that you could use to make snippet rolls. I think all of the different colors and tones and shades of the green look pretty on there. Of course, this has to dry. And then I have some fabrics. My fabric snippet roll is done out of a lot of dyed fabrics. This was just a piece that I used. It's kind of stiff, but it will still tear. You can use small pieces, big pieces, any kind that you want, and put them on your fabric snippet rolls, which I'm going to show you next. Put this aside, and of course then the acrylic skins, when you paint, and acrylic paint dries, if you have it on a slick surface, generally a plastic palette or a glass one, it comes off very nicely from the glass palette. And so I save these and sometimes make things out of those. I dyed some lace and some fabric for mine. It's part of the skin. This one is also. There's a couple ideas. And then I took lots of pieces, so many different pieces of sequins and all kinds of things. I'll show you. So I'm going to start here. I think this looks like a lichen. It's so pretty. It's just a piece of cheesecloth, took a large piece of cheesecloth, and I dyed it with watercolor. This I'd had in my stash because I tend to have days where I dye things. And then this is a dyed flower, lace. I want to get you a little closer to this and see all the elements. This was all sewn together with my sewing machine. There's some bits of lace there that I cut up. I didn't cut it up until I dyed it. There's my quilting fabrics in there, more lace. This was a piece from some boho fabric that had it embroidered. I thought the orange looked pretty with those greens. And then I had a sequin piece that I cut up and put on. These are paper flowers. I got these from Neri's Laces. She's on some of you probably know Neri. And then some older laces that have been dyed. More of the cheesecloth. The main thing you'll spend your time on with this is cutting off all the strings. I mean, some people like to keep the strings, but this really gets stringy. I mean, intense strings to where you can't even place it somewhere. Another thing that was new with this that I did is I had some green yarn and I just kind of tied it and then stitched over it to give it a lot of texture. I like a lot of texture in my artwork. Here's a piece of lace that a friend had gifted me. I'm going to use the stitching kit in this video and show you some her stitching kit. It's Suzanne in Ohio. She had sent me this in a pack. Then I have, these are just little applique flowers. This was like a fabric flower that I took apart and put on here. I dyed it. These are more of the dyed laces. And then that, and I thought it was super appropriate for the Enchanted Fairy collab. This is a piece that I folded over and over with my green. It looks really dark on this, but it's a real Kelly green. And what I did is I put the sequins over it and then clipped these. They were loops, and then I clipped them to make them give it that texture. And then an old piece of lace there. So I think they turned out really pretty and fun. This looks like polka dots from afar, but it's lace looking through the other green lace. There's probably 4 or 5 layers on this. And the next one, I even used one of my resin flowers on this. So it's just endless what you can do. So that's that one. That was the second one I made. The first one that I made was this. I'm going to back it up a little bit more so we can see both. That's a handmade bead that I made. That's sewn down right there. All it is circles. You use your circle cutter and glue them together. And then I put I always forget what that is, but to give it a glossy top, I put that on. And what I did is I had you can see there, I stitched it on. It has a hole in the middle of it, and you just place a toothpick in the middle of your paper layers. You can use any kind of paper for that. And you have a large bead. I've seen people make different things with those. So I thought that looked pretty on there. I have here, I'm going to stitch a bead on with you. And so let's go ahead and do that. I have some little wooden butterflies that I stitched on with this. I have some seed stitch. I thought the stitching looked really cool around this Enchanted Fairy. And I got these at Hobby Lobby. There were 2 of them and they were on sale. And then some more seed stitch by her with the contrasting thread. More of those little florals, which I thought looked good in here. And then the butterflies. Butterflies and fairies always hang out together. And I tried to do my version of a Celtic knot for the Enchanted Fairy collab. And then my lichen looking hand-dyed cheesecloth. Lace, lots of fabrics, and so forth. But I was going to stitch on this because I thought it needed a little bit more. And I'll share this with you. We'll get a little closer on this one. This looks pretty too. These two flowers look so pretty. But what I'm going to do is I have also the fairy has her magic fairy potions. And so I have a tiny vial. You can see my fingers. It's like about an inch tall with a cork. And I'm going to stitch this down on this one so that it will be there. So it's kind of a three-dimensional. And then I have the secondary fairy, which I like the green and purple together. And right now we're going to put these tiny little cone beads that are real shiny. And I thought this would look pretty in the center of that. So let me grab my little needle case, and that's what I was going to share with you. My friend Suzanne over at Suzanne in Ohio, she made this. She sells these in her Etsy shop, and I got this from her. I thought it was lovely. She takes older pieces and then she adds her own stitching. This is all of her stitching on here. This green following this line, and then she puts these together, and she does an excellent job. My stitching is not like this. I love how she put this together. But it's a lovely little needle case. She designed it, and I picked it out a couple years ago, actually. So here my threaded needles are getting connected, but you have a section for your needles and so forth. We may put that in if we can get a needle that goes through that bead. Otherwise, we may just do some seed stitch, because that really adds a lot to your piece. And I'll show you how I stitch down, and then the back of it. It's really pretty. She did this embroidery. So she's on YouTube. Suzanne from Ohio. I really do not think this is, oh, fabulous, it does go through. Okay, I tried another needle. Maybe it was the one that wasn't stitched. Here we have this. I'm just going to come up through the center, and for the center of the flower, I've got a knot tied there. Just to add a little sparkle to the center of this flower. And bring it through. Very simple. And for our timing purposes, I'm not going to duplicate that. I'm merely going to find a nice area, and I'm going to come down right here. I want to stitch this down a little more. And I'm going to do some seed stitch. Seed stitch is very random. Okay, we get that. Okay. Of course, on film, my needle comes unthreaded. What have I done here? I think these are the real things that happen when you stitch. Although, I don't know. They mostly happen when I'm on film. I hope you're laughing with me. Okay, so there we have that. Let's bring this through. Okay, so there's the knot. We've got that pretty little bead stitched on. It's pretty. Now, if I can thread this needle on camera, we'll call this the miraculous little video. First, I'm just going to make a knot here. So we can cut this off and start fresh. Okay. Of course, these, I think this one's about 18 inches in length. And we're getting all that sunlight coming in here. There we go. This here. You see the sparkles. Okay, back to the threading of the needle. It's 3. Huh. The scissors are not very sharp. Older ones. Paper cutting. And I do have a needle threader also, but for this video purposes, we're going with this. Okay. This is why I don't stitch on film very often. It's too funny. Okay. And that's the thing, none of this is an emergency. It's like, okay, so the thread did that. Nobody's life is in danger. Don't take yourself so seriously. That'd be my #1 tip today. Because enchanted fairies never take themselves seriously. Of course, there are 31 videos. At the end of March, there'll be 31 videos. And I'm day 25, so they're already, yes, we have it magical. Okay, so I'm day 25. This is the 25th day, and 24 different videos have already been shot and came out. So if you look up that hashtag Enchanted Fairy Collab, you will find, I like the seed stitch, you'll find all the videos there. I like the seed stitch to be on generally plain fabric. That's why I had started here. I think it shows up better, and but okay, I'm tying a knot in the end of this, gang. Folks, if you're still there, God bless you. It's kind of like watching paint dry, isn't it? Watching someone thread a needle. Well, we're getting it here. So you're just, all seed stitches is just, it's harder to make the random stitches than it is to just sew at a straight line, because you want it to look varied and variegated. And so I'm just coming up and going down. I'm coming up and going down. Smaller ones, bigger ones, you know, and it never really looks right until you have several in there, okay? And you may like to have a little ruching or it a little puckered. I tend to want it to be lay flat, and that's what happens when you go ahead and stitch. Sorry about bumping that. So that's really all you're going to do, and we're at about 24 minutes at this point, and so it's up and down motion. These are my Enchanted Fairy collaboration snippet rolls, and like I say, this one was all stitched to the hand. There was, I think, was there any elements on this one glued? No, I don't think so. But the other one did have glued elements, and of course the paper ones did. So those are just some ideas, and I think these would look lovely on Jovi's kit, Celtic Fantasy. So cool. It's such a cool kit. It's got lots of greens and blues, and all the videos are looking so cool. And so thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll come back, and I hope you'll try these and make your own snippet rolls yourself. So we have our little fairy here, and this is what she looks like before you paint her. I just did a lot in this video. So thanks for watching.